to another video and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, my name is Frankie, and basically my channel is based off of KTM cars like this full bolt-on Kia wide body Optima, or this 3.3 liter twin turbo Stinger all-wheel drive, of course. Now, as you saw by the title of the video, we're installing upgraded brake rotors, and not the basic kind. This is the double drilled and slotted brake rotors. Guys, these make such a big difference in performance aspect as well as visual aspect. Like, these are just appealing to the eyes. They go great with the stock wheel setup. Of course, these wheels are gonna go. Now, I already did one side on my own just so I could see how much time it would take for me having basic knowledge on working on cars. It takes about 45 minutes to at most 2 hours. It's very easy to do. Basically, doing one side, it only took me an hour. If you guys have the proper tools, it should go by very easily. But I highly recommend you guys look at the parts I have, and if you don't have them, just go to the store, drop the extra 150 bucks or however much it is. That way you have the proper tools for future mods that you might have on your car, because on this channel I try to show you guys how to do them on your own. That way you guys don't have to take them to a shop or to the Kia dealership and have to pay for service fees, which are like triple what they should be. I don't want to take away from people's businesses, but there are some shops that charge you well over how much the car part is itself. So in this channel, like I said, I want to show you guys how easy it is to install these type of parts onto your car. So these new slotted and drilled rotors flow really great with the stock OEM wheel setup. I mean, obviously this channel, we're going to get rid of the OEM wheels. I literally have them right there. These wheels are going to look so good with these slotted and drilled rotors. I'm not showing you guys those yet because that's for another video, so stay tuned. This is the rear setup. Man, that looks so good. It fills the wheel well almost completely. Guys, I'm gonna just say this: the next wheels that are going on this car are gonna fill this wheel well so good. It's gonna look like you can't even stick a piece of paper through them. They're gonna look really good. But guys, if you missed the last video, we installed the facelifted, upgraded Kia Stinger taillights with sequentials. These things look so good at night and during the day too. A lot of people compliment it, and a lot of people say they like the old Stinger taillights. But if you guys missed that last video, go check it out. It was such an easy install. But here are the, boring brake rotors. As you could tell, you can't even see them. And here's the front ones. Personally, I think Kia should have implemented slotted and drilled rotors onto the car if you're paying for a car that's about 60K, because at that point you could get a Mercedes or BMW with slotted and drilled rotors. This is pretty much how I think the Kia should have came. So here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need a breaker bar, impact gun. This one's optional if you guys can't afford it or don't have it. You don't really need it. You're good enough with breaker bar, as well as a torque wrench. This for sure you'll need at 90 feet-pound of torque when you tie back down those lug nuts. But after that, you're gonna need a 10mm wrench, 17mm socket, as well as a 21mm for the lug nuts. This is gonna be for the Brembo brakes, so that you're able to remove them. You're gonna need one of these picking tools so that you can remove the cover on the OEM wheels. That thing right there. You're gonna need a big Phillips head. And last thing, a mallet, just in case you're not strong enough like me to take off these rotors. You're gonna definitely need a mallet. This is optional. I'm gonna be cleaning the Brembo brakes. Since I'm already there, I'm gonna detail clean them. That way they pop and they look like new again, because as you see, they look pretty dirty and you can't really reach into the crevices from here. Since the wheel's off, might as well clean the Brembo brakes and make them look new. And most importantly, I forgot, you need a jack. If you guys have a lift stand, use one of those, but you definitely need a jack. And you're gonna also need some jack stands, because you don't want to have this jack fail on you and kill you, and then you're gonna have to give back the Kia Stinger back to the bank unless you paid in it in cash. You're also gonna need some wheel chocks or some wheel stoppers. That way this car doesn't roll on you and fall over the jack and then kill you. Definitely need some of those as well, especially if you live in an incline or decline driveway. You're definitely gonna need this, like this one here. It's at about a 45-degree slope. Now fam, please do not turn on the rear brakes. Do not have the parking brake on or the auto hold on. Make sure you have that turned off. You do not want these rear brakes to close up, because you're not going to be able to remove the brake rotors. And if you do happen to take off the brake, the Brembo brakes, you're not going to be able to put them back on to the new rotors. I highly recommend for you not to touch the electronic brake. It's gonna make your life really hard. Opening the rear brakes is one of the hardest things to do after you turned on the e-brake. Please guys, I promise you do not want to go through that headache. We're gonna start off with the rear wheel since it's the most, not complicated because this is a very easy process, but it has more tasks to do compared to the front ones. So let's get to it. You go straight above the Kia logo. Just pull it right out. GoPro's on. Time to use the impact socket. And here we go. These wheels are heavy compared to the new wheels. A little hint. Now I'm gonna clean off the Brembo brakes real quick. Not gonna show you guys that. You guys should know how to clean by now if you guys have a Kia Stinger. But this is what I'm gonna use: heavy duty wheel tire cleaner and some totally awesome get the job done. Now I suggest you grabbing a pillow or something at this point, because you don't want to have your brake calipers sit on the floor and get scratched. So I'm going to use a pillow and have it sit on that. I do recommend also don't lift the car up really high. Just have enough space where you could take the wheel out. That way you don't have any strain on the brake lines, because we don't have to do any brake flush or anything when going through this process. Now we're going to get to removing the Brembo brake. So what you're going to need is a 17mm socket. There's going to be 2 bolts here and 1 down here. You'll see them right away. And so this part's really hard for me, so what I'm going to use is a mallet, and I'm going to hit with the mallet. I'm going to hit the end of the wrench so I could get some, how do you say, impact on it, have it vibrate and get it loose, because it's too tough for me. I'm not that strong. All right, there we go. One's loose. From this point on, we could just use our hands to take the bolt out. This one's the hard one. Can't fit my head through here because of my GoPro, but all right, there we go. It's loose. Now at this point, we could use our hand to get this bolt off. Just make sure you carry the brake caliper. You don't want it to fall and rip the brake line. That's a big no-no. So with my left hand, I'm going to be carrying it, and my dominant hand, I'm going to be removing the bolt. All right, now we could take off the brake caliper at this point. Just slide it right off, and like I said, just make sure you don't have a lot of tension. So I'm going to have it here with the pillow holding it in place. Now that the brake caliper is out of the way, we're going to get that big Phillip head and unscrew these 2 bolts that are here. You don't have to mess around with this. You just gotta get rid of these 2 bolts that are holding the rotor in place. Now, if you guys have a lot of mileage on your car, these brake rotors are gonna be stuck onto the car. So one trick I suggest is with a mallet, you start hitting them. You start hitting, vibrate it, and it should start getting some tension off to the point where you could just slide them off. But since my car has low mileage, they're not stuck onto the hub yet, so I'm lucky in that case. There we go. Rear is off. Time to open up. Oh shit, damn, my back's messed up. Also make sure to take off this rubber grommet here, because you're gonna have to put it onto the new brake rotor. Open this box up. This should be the rear. I can't tell, these freaking rotors are so big, they're almost identical front and rear. I think this should be the rear. We're about to find out right now. Damn. These are the fronts. The reason I can tell is because this has 4 drills on, and this one should only have 3. Let's see. Oh yeah, and this is lighter. There we go. 3 drills compared to 4. And let's open these up. Take them out. Like I said, get the rubber grommet and push it into place here. That old grommet's back into place. So now we have to align these drills for the bolts for the hub. That we could put it in place. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to put these rotors on. And there we go. Grab those bolts, hand tie them just so you can make sure that you're not cross threading, and then you could get your Phillip head and start tying it with that. All right, there we go. And there we go, just like that. The new brake rotor in the rear is on. It's that easy, guys. That shit took me like 20 minutes. Now it's just time to put back the brake caliper, which is just another easy task. Just make sure you don't clinch or cut the brake line. That's the last thing you want as well. Remember this, you want to make this job very easy, so take your time. It's not a race, you're not racing anyone, and make sure you're not doing it in a rush either. Make sure you have a free schedule as well. So I'm gonna hand tighten them all the way, that way I make sure I don't cross thread these bolts. Like I said, you want to make this job easy, you don't want to make it hard. Imagine having to order a whole new rear setup because you accidentally cross threaded a bolt. Now you grab that wrench and you tie those bolts down. Make sure you do the top and bottom. So that's how you do the rear brakes. All you have to do is put the wheels back on and make sure you torque them at the end. Now let's move on to the fronts. All right, now we're gonna remove the front wheel. Same process as the rear. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to remove the brake caliper because that's the hard part. Now the brake caliper is clear. If you guys needed to see how to take the wheel off to get to this point, just go back to the beginning. It's the same process. It's really easy. So what I'm gonna do now is I got a jack there and I'm gonna put a pillow here. So when I remove the brake caliper, I'm able to rest this on here so that I don't create tension on the brake line. Last thing I want is to break this brake line. But before we get to that, we need to remove this bolt here so we have more leeway onto moving this brake caliper. So you're gonna get a 10mm so you can remove this bolt here. With your 10, simply just loosen up this bolt and get it off. Very easy. Now we have more leeway onto moving the brake caliper. I'm gonna put this bolt back to where it was so that we don't lose it. With our 17, we're gonna get those 2 bolts off from the back so we could get this brake caliper out the way. So 2 bolts, same place as the rear. Now that it's on, we're gonna use a mallet to break that bolt loose. You could use a breaker bar, but I don't have enough space. My breaker bar is about 2 feet long, and so this is 1 foot. So I don't have enough leverage, so I'm gonna use a mallet to get that bolt loose. And just like that, bolt is loose, and I can remove it with my hand. Just make sure you don't strip the bolt. You want to make sure you have the socket all the way in. That way you make sure you don't strip that bolt. Now we got to get the rear one off. Same process. I'm a pretty big guy. I'd say I have enough strength, but not enough for these bolts. So just like that. We could do the rest with our hands. Making sure I'm holding the brake caliper, preventing it from falling off. Simply slide the brake caliper off, and now I'm gonna let it rest on this pillow so I don't have this thing get scratched up. Just like that. Now we're gonna remove those same 2 bolts that are on the rear. They got them on the front as well. Simply get that big Phillip and take those out. Sorry for my heavy breathing, guys. I'm a pretty big dude. I have a bad cardiovascular system. I get tired really fast. Now we got to put the new brake rotor on. Like I said, this one has less steps. For example, there's no grommet here. Now we're gonna put this one on. Remember, got to put these holes in the right place for those screws. and then simply slide the new rotor on just like that. New rotors are on, just got to tie everything back, and it's that easy. One of the easiest installs to do that will make the car look way better. Like, having slotted and drilled rotors looks so good. And please don't be that one dude with them penises on their brake rotors. It's funny, but at the end of the day, you pull up to your grandparents or your family's house, are they gonna take you serious? Yeah, don't be that dude with them penises on their brake rotors. People already take Kias in a bad way, so let's make sure to have the Kias top notch or up to par. Let's not have them Kias looking bad. And there we go, new brake rotors on. Damn, that shit looks so good. So there we go, new rotors on. Simply just tie everything back on. Make sure you don't forget the brake line bolt. Tie the 2 bolts in the back and then put the wheel back on, and it's that easy. But I'm not gonna put the wheel back on yet. I'm actually gonna try on the new wheels, make sure they fit properly. I'm so excited. So I put on the new wheels for this car. I'm gonna just say, dude, these things look fucking crazy. They look so freaking good on the car. Obviously the car needs to get lowered, and the tires that are on them right now are not going to be the ones in use. Let's just say the tires that are going on these wheels are some fat boy tires. I'm talking about some big thick boys on these. I'd love to show you guys, but that's for another video, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on that video. We still got to lower the car, we still got to put the carbon fiber hood, we got to put the wing. I have a lot of stuff in my room. I literally can't even sleep in there because there's so much stuff that I compiled for the Stinger. And slowly we're finally putting all these things onto the car. Like I said, I had these rotors for about a year. So guys, hit the like button if you guys enjoyed. If I helped you guys out on installing these rotors, please guys share the video, like, subscribe. It really helps out a lot. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.